From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big noontime here this Saturday on LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. With breaking news you're going to hear for the first time in this recording. Shocking developments as the Democrats still want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Still have the fourth stimulus check in the reconciliation. Still protecting the fourth stimulus to the finish line. But why is there a new wrinkle in the voting process? You're going to see a big shocker in the fourth stimulus voting in this recording. It's all incredible news. And then we cut into the second part of this video, which raises your benefits up under fifth stimulus. Also gives you a fifth stimulus check. And we have the big breaking news about that happening on noontime as well. And then we go over the thousands of dollars that viewers continue to get. 5, 10. One viewer got 12 and one viewer got 10,000 this week as well. It's your opportunity to get that big money today. And I'm excited for you. Let's get to all this breaking news happening at noontime this Saturday, starting right here, right now on noontime. Good noontime, everybody. How you doing? Boy, I hope you're crushing the weekend. How's the weather where you are? It is sunny, very sunny. You could see on Morning to LA, you could barely see the plants behind me because it was so sunny. Now the sun is over the other direction, heading towards the west. But boy, very sunny here in Southern California and Los Angeles today. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're watching from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check extended broadcast on noontime LA, we have a lot of breaking news happening just today. The fourth stimulus is still the push of the Democrats, still in the recon, and also still monthly. But there's no new twist that you can hear for the first time in this broadcast. The voting process. Ooh, boy. And it's all wonderful news. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall with another stimulus check and raising your benefits up a lifetime. And then the thousands of dollars viewers continue to get. 12,000, 11,000 this week per person. Your opportunity to get this money as well. And I'm going to show you how in this video. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoon. And I want to thank you personally for watching Mornings Crypto just before this broadcast. It was our most watched Mornings Crypto show by nearly 300% growth in viewership compared to an average viewership of that show. Wow. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. And also thank you for the massive subscriber growth this week. Hit that subscribe button right away. Next up, 1 million. Also like this video. 3,000 likes and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into the first part of our fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. Those Democrats want you to have a monthly stimulus check, and the House bill and the Senate proposal, both monthly. And the calculations slightly different. So let's go over how they're different in this recording. The monthly checks involve a differences of both the number of checks and the payouts. So the House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal, July to December. Monthly payouts different as well. House bill, $1,000 a month after the first month of 2000. Senate payout, monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow, now that is savory. That is deliciousness right there. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 a person. If you're on the live chat just after 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, get ready to vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuned in from. But first we have to go back to looking at one thing, and that is this. Pandemic plus 1 year, well, the legislators may contend the pandemic is over. And if they do, that would reduce you to just 12 months of checks over 12 months, which accounts to $13,000 from the House bill of Jalapal compared to this from the senators over 6 months. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate right now. Vote or House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Everyone who got a third stimulus check. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. So single individual, $75,000 or less, you get a fourth stimulus check for those Democrats. The Democrats want married couples to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it, $150,000 or less. And the Democrats want a family of four to have a forced stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, the Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check as well. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits as well. Congratulations. The forced stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check comes monthly. It doesn't come in waves. So it's not a waivable check. So if you see the check this afternoon watching the soccer games and say, hey, check, I see you're watching the soccer game like I am. Which team are you cheering on in this cup for? Was that a wave or was that a goal motion? I don't know. You're rude. I hope your team loses. It's not a rude check. It's just focus on soccer, not you. I need my stimulus check. I don't need you to be focused on soccer. So there you go. The fourth stimulus check would come in the month of July, for the month of July, and in the month of August, for the month of August. It would be blocking the goalposts. Or moving the goalposts if it should be late. There you go. The fourth stimulus check would go to a final vote by July 4th. But in the second of three parts of our fourth stimulus check update today, I'll be going over the incredible news as the president and Pelosi and Schumer have now really protected your stimulus in the same place it was a week ago, the recon. By really protecting it in a fort around it. I'll be explaining that fort, that where recon is in place and not changed, and I'll be explaining the two-path process, and I'll also be explaining the two-path across the board. Recon and bipartisan. In the third part of this video, we go over the breaking news you're going to hear for the first time on Noontime LA today, which is a shocker about the voting process. Going into the weekend, I predicted two things, crypto crash and a shocker about stimulus voting. I got both of them right. I'll explain to you why in the second part of this recording. But first, a preview of Fifth Stimulus. Fifth Stimulus heats up, and Fifth Stimulus has another stimulus check and also raise your benefits. In the second part of this recording, we go over why that breaking news on Friday is all wonderful and how high your benefits may go. But boy, let's get some money, and I got to thank you and congratulate you. You are killing it. I usually talk about rent as $5,000 on this channel. Viewers are getting $12,000, $10,000. I haven't seen these numbers since December of last year. And if you're new to this channel, that's what I do. I give people money. This is not a check tracking channel. This is a check cashing channel. I got viewers $25 million of EIDLs last year, EIDL loans to save their business, their homes, and their employees' homes. But in fall of 2020, it was much like now, where people were waiting for second stimulus to come out. So I stepped up and got viewers $250,000 of rent then. And I was getting people like Tyrone $15,000 for family for rent in Boston. Well, you're doing the same. This week, one viewer got $12,000 for rent. Another viewer got $10,000 for rent. So get that pen and paper ready. And if it must be a Crayola crown, I'm sure you have beautiful pink in there as well. Let's go over all the details of how you get that money. And each place has different eligibility. We're going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities starting right now. Each place has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. They also have their own pot of money. The rent is a lot. It's about $5,000 for 4 to 6 months of rent, unless you're those viewers who got nearly 3 times that amount on this channel. So where are you going to reach out to? Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID, or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or a Nancy's wonderful fan club. She has a fan club? I did not know that. Yes, they don't know that. They won't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And they don't know stimulus either. So you have to say the key correct words. And congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this big money. Well, the next pot of money is even more wonderful. Lynn Glenn got it for her son, her daughter, and her son, her mom, and herself. Gail got it as well. And that viewer this 2 weeks ago got $7,000. One got $5,000. What is it? It's SNAP. SNAP is money for your food. It comes from Department of Agriculture. So reach out to Department of Agriculture to get this money. How much money is it? A fortune. Family of 4 in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year because of this. It's a lot. Why so much? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raised your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. You're killing it. I'm killing it. You're all killing it. The check and the strange things you're doing on that dance floor last night, you're not killing it. But $16,000 for Snap, $5,000 for rent. I got more money for you, and we're only 10 minutes in this video, and let's go over those details. It is money coming back from your states. Wow. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance due to computer error, and has now ordered the states to return the money back to you. One viewer got $5,000 for this. Where are you getting the money? On the account that you normally receive your unemployment benefits. When are you receiving them some money? Reach out to your respective state and say, hey, state, where is my money for that due to that computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? There you go. And finally, the last pot of money. If you've gotten any money for this channel, whether it's $1 or $100 or $100,000, jump in the live chat right now and say what you got, because it inspires me, inspires other viewers. Whether it's one viewer, jump in the chat and say, I'm getting $300 a month for Snap. Thank you, LA. Or I got $9,000 for rent. Thank you, LA. It inspires me, inspires other people. Because every time you explain your success story, other people go get that money as well. And let's get to that last pot of money. Margaret got it, Cod got it, and Michael got it. What is it? It's money from your IRS. The refund checks are going out, and they're going out this month. Let's go over how much, when, and where you're going to get it, starting right now. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid a $5,000 tax bill to IRS for everything, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, getting back $4,000. When? This month. Where? Direct deposit, that was what was on your return, otherwise in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password. Do a transcript search, and you'll be shocked the fascinating details it will reveal that you never knew before. It will reveal the tax return you file, the taxes you pay. It will reveal, really, what is that look that Mitch McConnell does when he's surprised? It'll reveal the ingredients to Mitch's fascinating Kentucky lobster sauce. And then it'll reveal the return check you're getting back from IRS. Can we get better news than that? We can, as we go to the second part of our 3 big updates of your 4th stimulus check of 2021. And here we go. Away we go. A week ago today, your 4 stimulus checks, monthly stimulus checks, were in the reconciliation. A progressive policy that is supported by progressives like Jalapal, with other progressive policies like the President's Climate and the President's Cares Economy. Today, where are they? Same place. Same place. Well, what? That's sort of boring. I thought it all moved around. I thought it went on like tour or something. Like the Beyonce tour for stimulus. No, it went nowhere. So what was all that stuff this week? It was moving other people's money. Not our money. Our money stayed the same. Your money stayed exactly where it was a week ago. Oh, hallelujah. Or hallelujah, as Tyler Perry might say. Medea might say. Okay, so where's our money? It's still in recon. The only difference is there's now 2 paths. Recon, your money, and bipartisan, other people's money. What happened? What happened was, it's like a cast of characters on a very big sitcom. You wake up one morning, you're like, there's too many cast of characters. This is a sitcom. We got to spin some of them off and put them in their own show. Need to give them their own show and a spin-off. That's what happened Wednesday night. As Leader Schumer and Leader Pelosi met with the president of the White House, said, this recon is too big, Joe. This recon is just enormous. We need to take some of this stuff out of the recon and spin it off in a spin-off show. I like it. To which the president said, I like it. Let's meet with the bipartisan group tomorrow, Thursday, and have them, and we'll spin off the bipartisan stuff into bipartisan, and we'll call it path number 2. Love it. And away they went. And that's what happened on Thursday. They took out stuff that has nothing to do with you, unless you own a bridge. Don't sell it to me because I don't want to buy it. Unless you own a bridge. And they put it in the other path. So we have 2 paths now. Path number 1, all your stuff, which is still in the same place, recon. And the bipartisan stuff, which is not your stuff. It never was your stuff. So where is the stuff? Let's go over the details. What's in the bipartisan? Roads and bridges. Yes, roads and bridges in the bipartisan. What's in the recon? Everything that else was already in the recon. Your checks for stimulus, the president's climate, The president's CARES economy, all the enormous progressive policies like checks for people for 18 years, lots of progressive policies are in this fourth stimulus as they were a week ago. The only difference is roads and bridges are off on their own bipartisan spin-off show. So to recap, we started a week ago with just recon, but now they spun off parts out of recon into bipartisan. Do we have bills? We do not yet have bills. That's why you hear me saying the word PAFs. We will potentially have 3 bills: the reconciliation procedural bill, the reconciliation substantive bill, and the reconciliation bipartisan bill. Why is this substantively beautiful? It's substantively beautiful because it's exactly what we were hearing from Jalopal, Chuck, and the progressives a week ago yesterday. You heard that quote from me just a couple of times where Jalopal says she's protecting the president's progressive policies and he's protecting her progressive policies. And then you heard that quote a lot from Brian Schatz, progressive as well, that said the White House considers the progressives' priorities as the White House's own progressive priorities. So what happened? Basically, the progressives really got their way because in this case, the president's big issues, climate and CARES economy, are progressive. And so they kept them all in the recon, and they said, let's build a fort around the recon. Let's put a fort around the recon, and everything in that recon will be very progressive. And anything that's not progressive, we can take out of the fort and put it in that spinoff, roads and bridges. So again, all those enormous progressive policies, like Jalopal stimulus checks, like the president's climate, like the president's CARES economy, still in the recon, but now much more protected because it's really all your money and the Americans' checks. Lots of checks for Americans for progressive policies. Checks that do not, and then everything else, well, and then the roads and bridges, which does not concern you, in the bipartisan agreement. 2 paths, and away we go. Recon and bipartisan. So how do we get to this wonderful spot? Well, not only did we get the tip-off or the hint or the spoiler of the spinoff from Jalopal about a week ago, saying that she was really protecting the president's progressive policies, we got the push from Jalopal a week before that, as Jalopal wrote Chuck a letter saying Chuck called the vote on the recon. Now, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. As 7 House subcommittee members, who I'll be going back to later in this video, especially this letter as well, I'll be coming back to this letter, wrote the president a letter about a week ago saying they're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Who are they? They're on the House subcommittee that's responsible for writing stimulus checks. They wrote your first stimulus check, your second stimulus check, your third stimulus check, and they're writing your fourth stimulus check monthly right now. And even better, they say they're writing your fifth stimulus check. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. As the president 2 weeks ago today, went overseas and in England, signed into law an international agreement which anchors fourth stimulus to the finish line by raising the corporate taxes internationally, making it easier to pass recon. Remember, recon is paid by corporate taxes. Let me go over what happened. Remember that the recon, not the bipartisan, but the recon is paid for by raising U.S. corporate taxes, only the recon. And the president, in raising corporate taxes, had said he was worried that if he did so, then some corporations in the United States would move overseas to find a country with lower corporate tax rates. To which he reached out to those countries with lower corporate tax rates and said, hey, let's raise our rates altogether. They said yes. To which he reached out to his staff and said, you know what? I like these countries. Let's go meet them for the holidays. And let's bring Jill's potpourri recipe. Bring them some potpourri for the holidays. When then suddenly someone had a brilliant idea. But Mr. President, you can bring them potpourri right now. It's the summer. Oh, let's go and meet them right now. So he met them 2 weeks ago today and got them to sign a law, the provisions now, before fourth stimulus, anchoring fourth stimulus recon to the finish line, because now the provisions about international taxes are made easier because they're no longer needed in the recon progressive provision bill because they're covered by the international agreement. Wow, can we get better than that? We can, as we go into the third part of our fourth stimulus check update, coming up after the commercial break, which will have breaking news you're hearing for the first time on this noontime broadcast. I had predicted two things would happen this weekend. Crypto would be going lower, and that there would be a shocker about the voting process for your fourth stimulus. Well, I'm 2 for 2, and I'll show you what's going on. Also, in the second half of this video, we'll go over fifth stimulus, which raises up your benefits across the board and also gives you another stimulus check next year. But first, something even more wonderful, and that's the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage, and internet, you can reach out to them, and they will help you get that money as well, like SNAP. So how do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description, and you'll find the community page. It has an emoji of a house and then the words community page. Click the link and it'll send you over to news.lalate.com/community. On the community page, the picture of some kitty cats. They're not your volunteers. They're just kitty cats. Lower on the page are the volunteers. They're separated from Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram. Reach out to them and help you get that money. Now, they cannot make you $12 ice cream. They cannot bake you a lasagna. They cannot tell you where Mitch got that hairstyle from. But they can certainly help you with all those other things. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with breaking news about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus in this extended noontime broadcast. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on noontime at LALATE, direct from Santa Monica, with big updates still about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus is heating up right now. I'm excited for you to join me, and boy, we got a lot coming up in the second half of this video. We'll be going over the voting process and the breaking news happening across the board. We'll also recap what you need to know going into the next day and also go over a lot of surprises. Fifth stimulus heats up as well with additional stimulus check and raising your benefits. I'll cover that as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss a single video across the board. Like this video. Every like helps. It also delivers an enchilada. And consider becoming a member. Let's cut right into fifth stimulus first. Fifth stimulus has a lot of breaking news. Number one, the president has dedicated $1 billion to benefits systems, Social Security, to ensure you get your checks going forward on time. This is great news in advance of fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus and your benefits checks. No longer will we see the problems of third stimulus where checks were delayed. Number two, we have learned that there will be a fifth stimulus check. That fifth stimulus check will be in 2022. It will be coming from the Democrats as well. The fifth stimulus check will not overlap with fourth stimulus, which is this year. And the fifth stimulus will go for a vote in November, December, and will start getting drafted up in about September. And finally, the big news about fifth stimulus, which is this week we learned that one of our 3 goals was achieved. Our goals were for the raising up of your benefits. 1, that they pass the law. We won't see that until the fall. Number 2, that the inflation rate hits its spike around when the time they apply your benchmark in December. We got that today this week. And then number 3, that the number's really high. We got indications it's high, but we don't have the number yet. Let's go over what happened. Jay Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, your chair this week, the PPI and CPI this week as well. The labor number on Friday and the labor unemployment new claims on Thursday all signal that inflation will hit its spike in December, right when they apply your benefits. OMG, this is wonderful. Let's go over the calculations right now so you understand how this works. They're going to apply that benchmark in December after they raise your benefits up one time, remove the asset limit, remove the marriage penalty, and remove the income exclusion. Let's go over how this works. First thing under fifth stimulus is they raise everyone's benefits up one time. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or calcina benefits. Then they'll apply the benchmark in December. You know what a benchmark is. It determines how much your benefits are the next year. And you know if it's a positive number like 1 or 2, then your benefits go up 1 or 2. So you also know that the new benchmark will be inflation. And you know that inflation's going up, that this is good news for you as well. So how high could this go? Well, we now know from Jay Powell will hit that peak right when they apply your benefits, which is huge. Let's choose a number. Many Wall Street analysts think that we're at 4% inflation now. We're heading to 10. If it's 10, then your benefits would step up 10%. Not just next year, a lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. This is huge. If the year after this, the inflation rate drops down to 2%, then you're at +2, +10%. It's wonderful, wonderful news. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1960s law, 80s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. Just in time to get some stimulus checks in your hand and a nice sock. They'll be removing the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interests and no longer fear loss of benefits. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to marry and not worry about the marriage penalty. And there you go. How are viewers in this channel getting these big sums of money? $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, $11,000. How are they getting this money? They're considering and they're becoming members. Members are delivered daily a breakdown from me, the big money under third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. Third stimulus is law, and there's thousands of dollars for viewers to get. I've been saying since day one. Not a $1,400 stimulus check, but $14,000 or $11,000 or $10,000. And so viewers are killing it by becoming a member. Members are delivered daily from me a breakdown of all the items in third stimulus for you to get, and everything that's proposed under fourth and fifth stimulus. So consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and pinned comment. And with that, it brings us to our final big conclusion for fourth stimulus with the breaking news across the board. Well, the great news going into the weekend is that your fourth stimulus, to recap, is in the same place it was a week ago. The better news is that the fourth stimulus is all surrounded by lots of progressive policies. And those progressive policies are all in the recon. And everything not progressive is out of the recon, over in the bipartisan agreement. That's the wonderful news. We went into the weekend with a Friday report from the president and his legislative teams that the voting process would be inverted. That under first, second, and third stimulus, the legislative voting started in the House, went to the Senate, and then went to the president. But that rather this time, it will start in the Senate, then go to the House, and then go to the president. No change on that news today. That is confirmed. Both sides have confirmed that's the situation. One thing still unclear, but I'm not worried about it yet at all, is who will be marking up the drafting of the legislation. My belief is that it's the Senate subcommittee still working in conjunction with the House subcommittee. Why am I not concerned about this? Under third stimulus, under the prior stimulus package, it started in the House and went to the Senate. This time it started in the Senate going to the House. But under third stimulus, and as reported to you over the last few weeks on this channel, Chuck Schumer is likely to do the same thing that he did on the third stimulus, which is have the Senate subcommittee and the House subcommittee work together at the same time, one time only. It saves time, and it also prevents ambushing later on. So early in this video, you heard me talking about those House subcommittees members who wrote your first, second, and third stimulus checks, and that they're currently representing their writing four stimulus checks. Is there any worry that we're starting on the House, we're starting the Senate level and coming over to the House second? No. I do believe that the Senate subcommittee and the House subcommittees are working hand in hand. So then what is different this weekend? What's different this weekend is the voting tying or tandem issue. What's the tandem issue? 2 days ago, I first told you that the president had announced to the American people that he was going to do a tandem voting, and I used a prop of my notes or the letters, where he said there will be the recon vote and there'll be the bipartisan vote in the Senate at the same time, and then off to the House. Bipartisan and recon in the Senate, in the House, same time. And then to his table, bipartisan and recon at the same time for him to sign. Well, was that really what was agreed to by the GOP? Depends on who you ask. A new conservative publication this weekend that's consistently negative about the president, never has anything positive to say about the president, came out with a new report. Now, while the report, again, is negative about the president, it has a series of quotes in there that are direct quotes from the people. And those quotes seem to suggest that there may be a little bit more, but ultimately you have to take this story with a grain of salt. The report says the following, that the president, after emerging from the White House on that Thursday, told broadcast media about this tandem voting. This gets voted at the same time as this. And that tandem voting allegedly was never discussed by anyone. That was something the president came up with Pelosi and Schumer, and no one else had heard it. Meaning that during the chats over the 24-hour earlier in his office with the bipartisan group, they allegedly claim it was never raised. After hearing the president talk about the tandem voting, GOP members allegedly, according to this very conservative article, were very upset with the president and were reportedly vowing to move off the deal. But Democrats eased them down and that they're still on hand. But here's how I view the story. While it is a conservative slanting publication, and it's always generally negative about the president, there were three quotes on the record. One, the president's, second, Pelosi's, and third, the press secretary. What did the president say? The president reportedly said that if you send me one of the paths without the other path, I will veto it. So you have to follow my instructions. That if you send me the bipartisan without also sending me the recon, I will veto the bipartisan. This is wonderful for you. Could not be any better for you. And guess what this sounds like? Exactly what I was reporting 1 week ago. I repeated this exact thing to you. I told you that when we were talking about that Jalopal Brian Schatz letter over a week ago that first emerged, not this Friday, but the Friday before that the president had told Jalopal that unless he gets his stuff done, he's vetoing everything else. And that was his assurance to Jalopal, to protect your checks, to protect his climate, and to protect his cares economy. Well, now he's repeating it in a different way, in a different breath, that is still the consistent same message. If the GOP tries to undo the president and send him only bipartisan, he will veto it. So you have to send me both recon and bipartisan. The second quote came from the press secretary, which said the following, that if the GOP tries to do bipartisan in a way that prevents the Democrats from doing the recon, good luck with that, was the quote. Good luck with that. And finally, the third force that vowed to block a divisiveness of the two-path process, that if someone tries to send bipartisan to the House, but not send it with recon, meaning to leave recon by the side of the road and not give recon the finish line. Who is going to blow up the bipartisan? Pelosi. Pelosi told News that you have to send to the House from the Senate both the recon and the bipartisan to protect yourself and your recon again. Because if you only send the House the bipartisan, she's going to toss it in the garbage, just like Mitch did to you in 2020. This is wonderful news. Now you saw early in this video that there is a substantive Fort Knox medieval fort protection around the recon that still has the items of progressive policies for you, fortunes of progressive policies. Now you're hearing that whether or not the president surprised people with a twist or did or didn't, you certainly hear a correct quote from Pelosi, the press secretary, and the president that you're going to give me my recon, and I'm going to have my recon. And if you try to play games with my recon, GOP, I'm blowing up your stuff. Wow. That is wonderful news. So to recap, so you understand, because I know this may be a little bit elaborate, there's two paths. Those two paths are recon and bipartisanship. The recon started a week ago with all your money in there. The recon still has all your money in there. For stimulus checks, climate, CARES economy, money for people for 18 years, a lot of big money. Money for seniors, a lot of big money in there. It's now more protected both substantively and procedurally. It's protected substantively because everything in there is basically money for you. It is all progressive money. It's procedurally now protected because Pelosi, the president, and also the press secretary says, if you try to remove the recon path from the two paths, anyone, we will blow up your stuff on the bipartisan. We will throw it by the wayside. Wow. I love it. I love it. Finally, someone has thought things through ahead of time. How many times in 2020 we always say, they don't think these things are through ahead of time. This was thought through ahead of time. And finally, if you have questions whether it was thought through ahead of time, the conservative article says that Pelosi, Schumer, and the president have been talking about this strategy for upwards of 2 weeks, but only finalized it this last Wednesday. OMG. Finally, Purple Power Push. You've been doing a great job, and that Purple Power Push is incredible. You need to keep on doing it. WR, one of the viewers on Noontime yesterday, in this show yesterday, jumped into the live chat and said he had called up Senator Coons' office. Now, who is he? Coons is the Democrat from Delaware, one of Joe Biden's closest confidants. And he spoke to the secretary and said, I want to express my opinions of why I think it's important to have MSC. The secretary told the viewer, the senator is currently working on the MSC language. There you go. Now, I don't want you to sit back and celebrate or put your feet up. I want you to do the same thing as that viewer did. I don't want you to become a donut guy. I want you to pick up the phone and call your legislators on Monday. If you have no Democratic senators, then call up another Democratic senator like Warren or Schumer or Coons or Sanders and express why it's important that you need those stimulus checks. Be professional, respectful. Think out why you're going to call ahead of time before you call. And we certainly know this week why you need it. On Thursday, the new jobless claims number was released. It was bad. It went up. On Friday, the new labor numbers were released. It was bad. On Wednesday, the Fed head, Shay Powell, testified on Capitol Hill again. And he said that Fed stimulus will continue to January 2022 throughout fourth and fifth stimulus, signaling he thinks we need stimulus all the way to the finish line. And there you go. Thank you for staying positive. Thank you for staying informed. And I really want to thank you that I've known since day one the viewers of this channel are very, very sophisticated, smart, and love complete, detailed information. And on days like this where things are very, very elaborate, and I try to make it simple for you, I really appreciate your ability to grasp and digest the information. And so if you are on that front porch tomorrow or at that water cooler on Monday and someone doesn't understand what's going on, you can now explain it to them. And with that, join me next on Afternoons LATE. That's going to be a big show at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. OMG. And then join me on Evenings LATE at 5 p.m. and then Overnight's Crypto, which last night was one of our most watched shows ever in that time slot. But first, subscribe. At 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. It delivers a piñata. Or it also delivers better algorithm rankings. And consider becoming a member. So you get delivered to you daily what's in third, 4th at Vistimos so you can get that big money, $5, $10, $15,000 right now. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next on Afternoons LA at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.